check on the way the two teams will line up. This is the Castleford team. They've got Ryan McGoldrick at full-back. Then it's Kirk Dixon, Jordan Thompson, James Evans and Michael Wainwright. And then the exciting Rangi Chase and Brent Sherwin combination at 6 and 7. Up front it's Mitchell Sargent, Ryan Hudson, who's the skipper, Paul Jackson, Craig Hubie, Stuart Jones and Joe Westerman. And the bench for the Tigers occupied by Steve Snitch, Liam Higgins, Oliver Holmes and Chris Hewson, whose loan deal from Wigan has been extended. The coach is Terry Matheson. Now the Catalan Dragons, Dimitri Pello at full-back, then it's Stephen Bell, Sebastian Ragan, Setimata Sarr and Frederick Bakary, Thomas Bost and Casey Maguire. That offers something for the Dragons as well. Up front, Jerome Guisset, Jean-Philippe Bale goes in at hooker, Dane Carlaw, he's in the front row, Olivier Ellimer, the skipper, Gregory Muniz, second row, and Dallas Johnson, another exciting player, he is the loose forward. And the interchange bench here, occupied by Julian Tuxagas, Kane Bentley, Sebastian Martin and Remy Casti. And the coach is Kevin Walters, back on duty after being home for a family funeral. There they are, the players are waiting for us. Castleford Tigers have never won at the Magic Weekend. Will they make it fourth time lucky? Let's go to the commentary box. Steve-O's moved upstairs to be alongside Paul Cullen, Terry O'Connor, but first, Rod Studd.
Thanks, Eddie. Well, on paper, this is an extremely difficult match to call between two sides whose recent form has been flaky, to say the least. Castleford's win over Salford last weekend was their first in 5 attempts. They were knocked out of the Challenge Cup by Championship Club Barrow, and as you mentioned, the Tigers have never won at the Magic Weekend. Catalans have lost their last 4 Super League matches to slide to the bottom of the pile. Statistically, they have the competition's worst attack and worst defence. But what will the Dragons produce today? The last 3 meetings between the two teams have been extremely close, decided by 4 points or fewer. Could it be as close again? The 3 wise men are alongside me, Paul, Terry and Steve-O. What do you reckon, gents? Which way will he go?
Well, I think Castleford have to try and maintain that form from last week. There is a rebuild at Weldon Road because they were dumped out of the Challenge Cup by a Championship side. That takes an awful lot of getting over as a team, and they have done good work in the progress on that by beating Salford last weekend. The Catalan Dragons, they have to improve their discipline and their defence. They were awful at Warrington.
Here we go then with day 2 of the Magic Weekend 2010. Catalans against Castleford, Huddersfield against Wigan and Saints against Hull KR to follow as we complete this round of matches, round 13 of Super League 15. And the Catalans know that if they can win this game by 20 points, and likely as that sounds for a team that's only won a couple all season, they will be off the foot of the table and replaced by Salford, who were pasted by Warrington last evening. Well, both sides, as we say, short on confidence. Castleford will have been rebuilding after that win over Salford last weekend. Maybe that'll just make the difference and spark Terry Matheson's team season. They have kept the same side, the same run-on team from the team that beat the Salford City Reds, so at least a little bit of consistency in selection for Cass.
And what they'll be looking for is the same as what they come up with in the second half performance. 96% completion rate. They got to the kick, they put pressure on Salford. I think Kevin Walters will be looking for his team to be more dominant in defence. They looked really fragile last week when they played against Warrington.
Yeah, they looked fragile on both sides of the ball, didn't they, Terry? Attacking-wise, they were devoid of ideas, and there were certain question marks and questions raised about the whole team's attitude, really, and the way they played against Warrington. Kevin Walters, the coach, is back here. He's been away on compassionate leave at a family funeral down under, but arrived back in the Scottish capital on Friday, so here to organise his troops. He badly needs a win. Badly needs a win, Kevin Walters. Team that, well, they got within an ace of the grand final last year, with 80 minutes of the grand final, and this year so different, Paul.
Well, confidence is a very fragile situation. You know, you've got to keep looking now on completing those sets, doing exactly what they've just done there. Probably not the best kick in the world, but it was reasonable. It did go straight to the winger. You have liked it to maybe hit the ground and roll a little bit more, just get a little bit more field position. But they've not made a mistake so far in the game, haven't given the ball over and haven't given a penalty away yet.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of that error-free football will be the aim. I think it'll be fairly conservative. James Evans drives it in for Castleford. Terry Matheson, the Castleford Tigers coach, the man who led his side to 7th in the table last season. Catalans finished 8th. Cas went out in the first round of the playoffs, and the Dragons went to within 80 minutes of Old Trafford before being derailed by Champions League. Now, it's just the first chance for Cas with Brent Sherwin at dummy half. Chase is the man they've come to see if you're a Castleford supporter. Leads most of the stats in terms of attacking ideas for Castleford, and here he is with ball in hand, a little chip ahead. Should be dealt with by Dimitri Pello, but just slipped a fraction, the French international, but managed to tidy up at the second attempt.
Good set of 6 from Castleford, just getting to the kick, trying to put that bit of pressure on Rangi Chase, the man in your picture. He can cause problems. He just needs players flooding forward, giving him a bit of support, leading into that next hole.
They're a maverick player if ever there was one. Terry Maston had to drop him for that game at Huddersfield a few weeks ago for disciplinary reasons, and Westerman was similarly disciplined by Cas, but Chase could produce absolutely anything on the rugby league field. Magic weekend, you would feel, was made for someone like Rangi Chase, and we'll certainly keep our eyes on the number 6 for Castleford. Good offload. Sir Bale bustling onto the ball, who's playing at hooker today and trawling through the records. He's only played hooker one time, we think. That was at Warrington a couple of seasons ago when the Catalans won 40-20. But interesting, Terry, to see a team shuffling around positions like that and playing a guy at hooker that isn't used to it.
What Bale has got, he's got speed and acceleration from dummy half. Set him at the side, he's put back in the centre. A lot of pressure been put on him lately to come up with big plays, organised for this Catalan side.
Real emphasis there on that positional switch, Rod, that a young halfback, Tony Guigeot, played at 9 against Warrington. Very talented ball player, I believe. Defence is not on his agenda. And I think that's why Jean-Philippe Bale is in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and paid the price for that, didn't he, Tony Guigeot? He was the man who's paid the penalty as Chase displays some of those skills and finds Jordan Turner, just still 18 years of age. 4 tries in 6 appearances for Cas this season. One of the promising youngsters they've still got down at the Jungle.
The biggest problem you got with Rangi Chase, you could see that he was running across the face of the defence, but no Castleford player was coming off him at an angle. That'll be play on. He took that with 1 foot in the field of play. That's great stuff by the Tigers.
Nothing wrong with your eyesight, Steve-O. Spot on he was, a foot in the field of play, bundled over the dead ball, and Chase on from the Castleford Tigers. The kick from Sherwin was wonderfully weighted.
Good urgency from James Evans. You can see that he's trying to get down, but it just keeps him up. Stuart Jones comes in, adds his extra weight, pushes him to get the kick, the drop out from underneath the sticks. Good pressure from Castleford.
Yeah, good start by Castleford here. Good start by both sides, really. No errors whatsoever. And both coaches will be pleased with what they've seen so far. But particularly Terry Matheson as his side forced that goal line dropout. This is Jackson in his second spell at Castleford. There is a man who knows about playing hooker. We've talked about Bale, who's a novice at the role, but Ryan Hudson, well, years of experience in 2 spells at Castleford Tigers. And there he is again at dummy half. Now Sherwin, the ball player here, and Chase looking to interlink once more for the Tigers. There's a try on here, possibly if they can get it out to Wainwright on the wing. Thompson comes inside, which was possibly the right decision because Wainwright was being marshalled towards the touchline. All Castleford in this last couple of minutes from the goal line dropout. Can they conjure something up? Can they at least force another set of 6 here on the Catalans line? Ryan Hudson from dummy half. Again they utilise Chase. Coming out to the ball is Mitchell Sargent. He's knocked on, he's lost the ball. Oh, well, Ian Smith initially said he'd knocked on. Now he says, I'm not so sure. Let's have a look at the TV replay. Let's have a chat with Stuart Cummins, the video ref.
Well, Mitchell Sargent hit this ball at speed. He reaches out. Does he ground this ball? No try. Loses the ball.
I think he might be a touch short as well.
Yeah, just doesn't have control, does he, Steve-O?
It's a great effort, but it's short as well as not having the controls. This will be no try for sure, but it was a beautiful run, wasn't it, by the big fella. Held up beautiful, Rangi Chase, neat little pass. This will be confirmation of NOTRY.
There it is, no try, scrum defence. So I'm sure Ian Smith was influenced by the schmozzle in midweek at the championship game we saw live on Sky Sports on Thursday night when Robert Hicks didn't go to the video ref and replays revealed that he ought to have done. And Ian Smith thought there, well, hold on a minute, I'm just going to be absolutely sure here and just have a check.
It's what it's for, the technology's there. It's a fantastic situation that we have in our sport. You know, and if, shall we say, it's not right every single time, that's not the point. It's there for the benefit of all. Have a look, have a second look, have a third look, get it as right as you can do.
Yeah, I'm sure Ian Smith was 99% sure that it wasn't a try, but what's the problem with just checking with the video referee to make sure that his first judgment was right? It was right. Ian Smith had it right. The video ref had it right, and nothing on the ball. But Castleford very close to opening the scoring.
I thought there was some great defence just before that situation on the try line, or the disallowed try or not. Great defence from Stephen Bell and Seta Madassar out wide, overlap, pushed up hard, and did enough just to put the pass off.
Chilly weekend in the Scottish capital, but not as bad as the weather was when the sides met over in France in March, when the supporters had to clear the snow off the pitch in the south of France before Castleford won that game narrowly. Good win that was for the Castlefords away from home, and now they have a penalty. It's our first penalty of the day. Jérôme Guisset, the man who transgresses.
Well, Jérôme Guisset just trying to buy his side an extra couple of seconds. Won't let Ryan McGoldrick up to play that ball.
It's something that Jérôme has to work on. I watch every game, every week, every minute of every game, and unfortunately, that's in Jérôme Guisset's game. He just stays on a fraction too long, and his team can't afford to concede penalties like that.
Penalty count, 1-0. Castleford. Let's see what they can do from this, but it's pretty much 3 straight sets almost now on the line when they had the goal line drop out before, so there's been a lot of pressure on the French line. Interesting to see what their attitude towards defence is like for the 80 minutes here. As Paul was mentioning earlier, they were shocking at Warrington last weekend. They really do need to muscle up. They're on a woeful run. They're bottom of the table. Defensively, they're the worst team in the competition. Here come Castleford trying to add further to those statistics of tries conceded. Right on the try line, 2 tackles left as Ian Smith called 4th tackle. Ryan Hudson looking to call the shots. He's got Chase to his left-hand side. That's the way he goes. Chase dummied, looked to throw a pass, looks to throw another one. Still going. Michael Wainwright will score. Or will he? Ian Smith goes to the screen. Wainwright, who scored the winning try in France when the sides met earlier in the season, thinks he's got the opening one here.
This is shocking defence from Catalan. Watch the players just keep bouncing off. Rangi Chase, he is so deceptive. He's strong, he's got balance. Well, is he looking for a bit of an obstruction? But Rangi Chase, look at this. He's just so strong. He palms the players off, flicks the ball out to Wainwright, who crosses, goes over the line.
No doubt about the grounding, that is for sure. We knew he was going to be a danger man, Rangi Chase. But when you get the big fella to him, Jean-Philippe Bale should have had him the first time, and then they pushed him away. That's a good finish, this will be given.
The dummy runner has done his job there. Seta Madassar has come in, tackled the dummy runner, pushed him in play. I think this is going to be a try.
I think it won't be. I think Chase has run around the back of the Castleford player that went through. You're not allowed to run around the back.
He can't do, on that third part, I don't think he can do anything to get out of the way. Seta Madassar has come up with the wrong tackle option. He's come in, he's took the dummy runner in, which was Westerman. He's then forced him backwards. Rangi Chase could only go one way, and that's why Michael Wainwright, the man in your picture, scored the try.
Well, video refereeing by majority decision up here in the commentary box. I think you were outvoted 2-1 there.
Yes, I'm on my own, I think. I just generally feel that Chase did have an option. He could have gone left or right. He chose to go left. It was around the back of a player, look, that has gone through.
I don't know. I don't think there was anything Chase could do there. It's the wrong option by Seta Madassar. He's the one who's come in. He's the one who's put his team under pressure. And Michael Wainwright scored the try for Castleford.
Yeah, some fancy footwork from Jordan Thompson too to get out the way of Michael Wainwright. Some nice moves from the feet of the teenager. Wainwright got round his own man, scored in the corner. Now Westerman, who was flawless with the boot last weekend, is going to miss that to the left. So his scoring streak with the boot, he booted 7 from 7 against Salford last weekend, ends. But Castleford lead 4-0.
An amazing thing that we've got to pick up on this is the fact that you can't get that first defence, and was Bale knocked over by his own man? Perhaps he was, couldn't get to him. To take nothing away about the Castleford, they look the most dangerous so far in this game.
I'll consider myself firmly put in my place.
It's not a matter of that, we just know Paul Cullen has got no future as a video referee.
Well, it's a good job. He's not enough time, have you, Paul? I mean, you're coaching at Widnes, you're analysing all the games for boots and all. I don't think you can fit in video refereeing as well, surely.
They can always squeeze a little bit more work in. You always can.
Michael Wainwright gets his 4th try of the season, and that takes him joint top in terms of Super League tries at Castleford, with Westerman, Shenton, Evans and Ainscoe has now gone back, well, to his parent club Wigan, and then on loan back to your club at Widnes, Paul, hasn't he? But it just shows you that there's a problem there. If your leading scorer's only got 4 tries, it is a worry. You do need a guy who's capable of double-digit tries try scoring at this time of the season.
Well, it always helps, but it sometimes isn't about the guy that just keeps putting the ball over the try line. It's that consistency of performance, and certainly your consistency in discipline and defence.
Final one in this set for Cass. Chase launches it long. It'll be collected by Pello. He was prepared to let it bounce, which is always a little bit chancy, but Pello comes away. This is the position that's caused them problems. Full-back, Pello there at the moment. Well, Huddersfield Giants are next up against the Wigan Warriors. There they are watching on, the Giants. Nathan Brown's men. They play Wigan twice in 3 weeks in the Super League.
Catalan are not giving themselves a chance in this game. Castleford, from that kick-off, have come 90 yards. And that's just because the Catalan defence, it's so jagged. They're not going up as a straight line. There's gaps everywhere, and they're not even dominating.
Now Castleford are getting it right on both sides of the ball. In fact, I can't remember Catalans having a play the ball inside the Cas 30, so it just shows you where the field
look at that speed of line from Castleford then. He's hit Casey Maguire and tackled him behind the advantage line.
Here's McGoldrick. We talked about Chase being a maverick player. Well, McGoldrick, you wouldn't know what he might do next. He really is one of the most unpredictable players in Super League, and possibly a contender for the world's most tattooed rugby league player as well.
No, I get that. That is for sure. But you know, Rod, the one thing that I've noticed over the 2 days is that quite a lot of the teams are looking very, very tired. Now, is it the pitch? Is it the turf? I don't know. I haven't had a chance to go out there onto the surface.
Steve, it doesn't feel that it would be sapping. It's not like,
the teams who are looking tired will be the teams who are doing an awful lot of defence, who are turning the ball over and giving more penalties away than their opposition.
But we saw yesterday, didn't we? You know, Bradford, they looked lethargic. Hull did exactly the same thing, and I'm just wondering whether this pitch has some sort of effect.
Yeah, good point, Steve. You've got to say that the Catalans have started in a very similar style to Bradford and to Hull FC, haven't they? And neither of those teams ever got into gear in the remaining 80 minutes.
But Catalan have started like that. But let's give some credit to Castleford by the speed of which they've started this game.
Yeah, it's been impressive. They got the only try from Michael Wainwright. They lead 4-0 after 13 minutes. Magic weekend, day 2 here at Murrayfield. And we saw the statistic come on the screen a minute or so ago that the Catalans have spent 1 minute in the opposition's half in this match. You ain't going to win many rugby league games with those kind of statistics.
That was an interesting set from the Catalan Dragons. It was a back set. If you notice, then it was the wingers and fullbacks, the halfbacks running from dummy half. There's only just over 10 minutes plus gone on the clock, because Jean-Philippe Vale, who is a centre playing at hooker, just needed a little bit of a break. They have got Kane Bentley on the bench to rotate in at some point, but he's looking a little bit tired early on. They're a bit one-dimensional when it comes out of their own quarter on exit sets.
Ryan Hudson has been very busy at hooker for the Tigers. Now half a break for Rangi Chase. Well, the man who really can unlock any defence, second on the stats for most try assists behind Sean O'Loughlin in the Super League this season. Easy to see why. Great offload there. Jackson for Castleford. That was a brilliant offload to get Castleford moving again. Cut that from Ryan Hudson.
That's fantastic
Conjuring
play.
act.
Fantastic play by Hudson.
Little kick here from Sherwood into the corner. Well, they've managed to bundle it dead, but it will be another goal line drop out as the winger Bakari got rid of it.
Well, it was a good job back when he was there in the corner. He was put under pressure. And again, just turning the screw, Castleford. They're getting down there. They're coming up with a couple of repeat sets.
10 metres.
Paul, from a coach's point of view, Terry Masterson will be absolutely delighted with this. I mean, they've done everything right so far, haven't they, Castleford?
They have, and they've also put right what's been going wrong over the past 3 or 4 weeks, or possibly even a little bit more. Completion, field position, build some pressure. You know, we all know that Castleford can play top quality attacking rugby league in good ball. They have to do it, though, on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I just wonder if sometimes they're a watershed defeat, sometimes it's a really heavy defeat when you concede 50 points, or sometimes it's when you lose to teams you know you should beat, like Barrow in the Cup, and maybe they've thought, well, draw a line now. It can't get any worse. We have to improve from them. They certainly have in the last couple of weeks. And they're attacking again here, Castleford. Chase once more. McGoldrick comes into the line. And they've got players over here. Thompson and Wainwright lurking down this left flank. Tackles in the back for Cass. 3 of them. McGoldrick to dummy half. To Chase again. 10 metres out. Showing the ball one way. Giving it to Mitchell Sargent. The distinctive blonde-haired Australian goes to within 2 or 3 metres of the try line. Hudson, who must have had the ball in his hands more often than anybody so far. A looping pass out to the far side, where Castleford will launch their final tackle from this set. Hudson's got across there to support once more. It was Stuart Jones who'd taken it forward. Little kick through. Could be a try for McGoldrick. Will be a try for McGoldrick. And Castleford get the reward. Their pressure has merited. They lead 8-0. it'll be 10-0 with the kick.
Again, just no defence from this Catalan side. Not enough awareness, spatial awareness from each other. Ryan McGoldrick scores an easy try for Cass. But good build-up play again from Castleford. They're putting an awful lot of pressure on this Catalan side, and Catalan at this minute have no answer to the speed of which Castleford are playing this game. Look at the numbers. McGoldrick stays onside, Westerman stays onside. But McGoldrick is so urgent in his play. That is just perfect positional kick from Rangi Chase, who takes the ball to line. He pulls up the Catalan defenders and then puts that neat little kick in for McGoldrick to score the try.
Food and drink to Westerman. 10-0 to Castleford. Well, Catalans at this stage are staring down both barrels, aren't they? I mean, this is looking like it could get ugly.
Well, we hope not for the sake of Catalans and for the game that we all want to be a part of. But urgency is the key word. You absolutely nailed it, Terry. The fullback was there, and so was Setamat Sarr on that mini pendulum around the back. They read the play, they simply didn't get there quick enough.
But that's a type of play that every coach enjoys, because that came off the training paddock, no doubt in my mind. McGoldrick knew exactly where that ball was going to be, and there should be a smile on the face of Terry Madison.
And don't you just love the technicality involved in that kick? Across the face of the post. So for a fraction of a second, the fullback loses eye contact on the ball.
Catalan Dragons, as we mentioned, within 80 minutes of Old Trafford last year, signed some big-name players in the off-season like Dallas Johnson from the Melbourne Storm, but they haven't produced. But if you look at the players that they are missing, Mogg, who returned home, Fakir, Walker, Greenshields, is that the reason that they're missing so many big names, or is there something more to it than that?
Well, if we just look at the logistics of what has to be dealt with today, we all agree that Catalan started this game in good spirits. The first couple of sets were decent. It was a penalty for lying on for an eighth of a second too long that put them in a vulnerable position that they haven't recovered from yet.
The biggest problem in my view is the fact that you're going to get a sore neck, because we have not seen anything other than Castleford going towards the left-hand side from our commentary position, and it's a big problem for Kevin Walters. Their kicking chase game is poor. We've already discussed their defensive line is out of shape. He's got to do something quickly.
Well, 17, nearly 18 minutes of fault-free football from the Castleford Tigers. It's given them a 10-0 lead. They haven't made an error with the ball. They've kicked brilliantly. They've forced 2 goal-line dropouts. They've scored 2 tries. They've hardly missed a tackle. And Terry Matheson must be purring with delight. But, as we've seen many times, a Super League match can turn very quickly. As he makes an interchange, Matheson, he brings Liam Higgins into the fray in place of Mitchell Sargent. He'll take a breather. Well, the Catalans have got into Castleford territory for virtually the first time this afternoon. Well, a mishmash at the play. The ball play on is the call as Bale drives it in down this near touchline, and it is the last tackle. Now, what can they produce from here? I haven't mentioned Thomas Bosk's name as yet so far. Here's Maguire. Here is Thomas Bosk. Well, a kick ahead that Cass should deal with. Mo, it's a good one. It bounces kindly for the Dragons. Now is that knocked on by Wainwright?
He's offside.
It's a penalty. Yeah, Wainwright offside.
Oh, time's off.
Well, Bosk did produce for virtually the first time he's got his hands and then his foot on the football.
Well, it's a good job McGoldrick went to make that tackle.
Wait.
Well, you can see that he follows through. Wainwright taps the ball forward. McGoldrick offside.
Yeah.
That's one. Move.
And another penalty off the back of it for not releasing the tackler.
Wait.
Holding on to the ball, and the tackle, says Ian Smith. A couple of back-to-back penalties for the Catalans. Is this the turning point as Bosk spins the ball out to Dimitri Pello, a free scorer last season, but hardly on the sheet this year. Just 2 tries this year, 17 last year. What a difference 12 months has made. Elmer, the captain. He needs to lead by example out there. Well, they could badly do with a try here, and I tell you what, if they do score, it would against the run of play, but it would change the whole game round here. Maguire offloading to Sarr. Setiamata Sarr was close to the try line. Dallas Johnson in on the act. Maguire can't pick it up. It was a poor pass from Johnson, a world-class forward like Dallas Johnson, but the pass just simply wasn't good enough.
But they look dangerous. They show Catalan this season that they can come under tries, but that poor, the execution of that pass from Dallas Johnson.
Let's give a lot of credit as well to the effort from Rangi Chase. He just drags back the ball-carrying arm as he's trying to flick it away. Well, he's been here, there and everywhere, man, hasn't he, Rangi Chase, and I'm sure he'll be happy with the fact that Brent Sherwood, his half-back partnership, is there.
It was arguably the best set of the game for the Catalans in the build-up to that. From the scrum, won every single collision and put Castleford on the back foot.
Castleford handling error, the first handling error of the game by my count. And it's Jordan Thompson who is the guilty man. Oops. Well, interesting now, interesting as the Catalans effectively have now got 3 sets on the trot here. They need to make this count.
They do, you know, and young Jordan Thompson, big boots to fill. Obviously no Michael Shenton in that left centre position, and maybe that's a target they're going to keep going at.
Well, they're trying to get Pello free on the left, and he's got the ball away. A try here, a try for Frederick Vakari. For the Catalan Dragons, they have made that spell of pressure tell and pay. They're back in the game, they're back in business.
Good play. Kevin Walters will be happy with that. Had a couple of sets of 6, come from the mistake from Jordan Thompson. But Catalan have shown that they are very dangerous when they're down Castleford's end of the park.
They've spotted a little bit of a niche down that side, haven't they? They've tried to get Pello in from fullback down that left-hand side, and it's worked there. They've tried it a couple of times.
And there's the mistake from Thompson. Comes from the scrum, the set play. You can see the plays coming through. Bragan comes through, attracts the defenders. Vakari just gets outside of his man. But this is what we'd like to see. Running with numbers. Dimitri Pello, fantastic footwork. He pulls in Kirk Dixon, but Vakari goes in for the try in the corner.
It was a great score. You can't detract from the footwork then of Pello. A little in and away. Great little two-step with the feet. Takes an awful lot of skill to get that right at this level.
Yeah, fourth try in 4 games. Sorry, Steve. Fourth try in 4 games for Vakari, so in good form.
Yeah, and Dimitri Pello, he read it well. He came at the right moment. He was hiding behind the runaround. When they did, he came on the arc. He wasn't showing his hand early.
Muniz doing the goal kicking. Well, Thomas Bosk, who is one of the finest goal kickers in the competition, isn't kicking at the moment. He had ankle problems that kept him out at the start of the season. I don't know if they're still troubling him, but Muniz has been kicking for the last few weeks, and, you know, every 2 points counts, doesn't it?
It does. You have to get an awful lot right to win a game of rugby league at this level, and if it's just not quite working, you can become undone with it. You've got to credit the Catalan Dragons though for some point. Clint Greenshields is such a good player, such an influence to the way that the Dragons attack. That link-up around the back of the lead runner is so phenomenal, it's difficult to get other players like Pello to come in and play at the same standard. But that was Greenshield-esque.
Yeah, Greenshields one of the guys out, broken leg. Chris Walker this side, obviously a key element. And Jamil Fakir is out as well. Gossard's injured, Mogg returned up. These are really key players and key part of the organisation for the Catalan Dragons, and I think they're struggling to get things sorted with all the chopping and changing that's gone on. We mentioned Bosk missed the first few games of the season, the first 7 games of the season as well. So, I mean, there's been a lot of chopping and changes, hasn't there?
Well, if you get key players out, it's always going to be a struggle. I think Harlequins is a case in point. They really did have most of their great players out early in the season, and they were not playing very, very good football. They had to throw in a lot of youngsters in at the deep end.
We've seen the difference, Steve, haven't we?
Yeah, they've come back, like to Purdom and Dawn, and I thought Luke Gale was outstanding.
Yeah, sensational turnaround by the Quins. They've won 2 on the trot, and they're looking up rather than down. The Castleford Tigers lead 10-4. They're looking to re-establish their credentials in the competition. The Catalan Dragons are trying to get off the bottom of the table where they sunk after last week's hiding at Warrington. They're back in this game, though, at 10-4. Here comes Wainwright, the man who got the opening try of the game.
Not bad tactics, actually, by Terry Madison. He often brings in the wingers down the middle just to give his forwards a little bit of a breather, just get them running, but they're getting over the advantage line. That's the problem for the Catalan side. They've got to try to stop them doing that.
I thought, Mike, on that set of 6 in defence from Catalan then, they were a little bit smarter. You're quite right, they weren't winning collision, but they were just accepting the fact that they would be done at marker and didn't go back on interfere and give what they couldn't afford to do, a penalty away.
Third goal line dropout. Let's quickly go down to the sideline and get some news from Brian Carney. Brian, what have you got for us?
Yeah, no major problems with Thomas Bosk. It's precautionary, really. He's suffering from a little bit of a groin strain, and obviously goal kicking puts tremendous stress on that, so they're going to relieve him of the goal kicking duties and look after that groin.
Thanks, Brian. That explains that, clears that up. It could make a difference. It was a difficult kick, to be fair to Muniz, right out on the far sideline, but those 2 points could yet come in very, very crucial later on in proceedings. Cas have forced their 3rd goal line dropout. kicking game of Chase and Sherwin has worked wonderfully so far. This is Joe Westerman spinning out of a couple of challenges. Ryan Hudson, who's had an impressive game at hooker, in again there, linking up. Chase is involved. He brings in Brent Sherwin. There's a wide out. Again, it's Hudson to dummy half, and Cass have still got 3 tackles left here. More problems for the Catalan Dragons. Chase a low ball that was brilliantly collected by Ryan McGoldrick on the far side, and exceptionally well to pick that up off his bootlaces. Hudson once more. Now Rangi Chase. Now Craig Hooby playing in the second row, usually a regulation prop, but shifting into the second row of the forwards. Chase again, toes it forward, and just too much weight on it, and the Dragons survive.
Rangi Chase is just quite happy putting pressure on Catalan, trying to turn the screw, trying to get another repeat set. But Catalan have to up the work rate. There's a lot of the players walking in the background. They need to push forward in support. You can see he's got no options, sir.
Yeah, Chase leads all the indicators last season, most offloads, most carries, most tackle busts for the Tigers, and we saw when he didn't play when he was dropped, as Terry Masson looked on when he was dropped at Huddersfield, that they never looked like scoring a point at the Gale Farm, did they? It does make a huge difference to their attacking option.
And do you know what? You've got to credit Terry Masson for that. He left out probably his 2 key players in Westerman
as
they made the mistake. Left out, he left out Joe Westerman. He also left out Rangi Chase. 2 of the best players, but he said, if you're going to mess about, I won't stand for it.
Well, since then, Castleford have lost in the cup, but picked up by beating Salford. There is Chase. He really is a player that you really want to keep your eyes on, a magician with a magic box of tricks. Good ball this time from Dixon. Well, referee says it was forward, as he looked to get Michael Wainwright around the corner, around this near touchline.
I thought the Catalan Dragons were very, very fortunate to get away with that situation. Forward pass, referee, makes his decision, but the ball on the previous set from Vakari, the left winger, a one-handed offload inside. All they've got to do is complete. For goodness me, get to the other end of the field and spend some time down there.
Well, Ryan Hudson takes a breather after 27 minutes of hectic activity. Gone are the days, Steve, when the hooker used to play the full 80 minutes for most of these clubs. Deary me.
They call it technical.
I'll tell you what, on exactly that same point, I don't quite know how long that Kevin Walters can keep Kane Bentley on the bench at the minute. There's the hooker, as we can see at the minute, Jean-Philippe Bale. He's done what, just around 30 minutes-ish so far. It's very demanding to change from centre to dummy half. You're doing so much more work, not just the volume of work, but just simply the sprint, the stop, the bend down, the pick up. That's alien to him as a left centre.
Yeah, I'm sure when they do all these newfangled technological analysis of the metres covered, don't they, and the difference between playing hooker and playing centre would be enormous. That kick has just got too much weight on it. Oh, now, hello, Ian Smith wants to decide, did it take a touch off a Castleford player, and if so, did they actually play at it?
Was it Kirk Dixon? Did he touch it, or was he pushed onto this ball? He's trying to let it, shepherd it, go over.
Well, I'd give a dropout there. I don't know about you boys.
I think it comes off him there.
It is a dropout.
I think it comes off him there.
Definitely interfered with the movement of the ball.
Ian Smith, absolutely right. Just had a chat with Stuart Cummins, says have a look at that for me, and let's see how we restart the game.
And good play by Ian Smith, in perfect position.
Cass will have to defend a goal line dropout for the first time. They dominated the first 20 minutes or so. This game scored 2 tries without reply through Wainwright and McGoldrick, but Bakary has hit back for the Dragons, and now they're knocking at the door again, possibly, from this set.
That's how to run onto a ball.
Remy Castry came charging on. Reminiscent of Terry O'Connor and his pomp there as he charged forward a good 20 metres. I'll tell you what, though, he's felt it. Bale in at dummy half. A little bit of afters with Stuart Jones. Element. Offside, says Ian Smith. The tide is turning here at Murrayfield.
Isn't it amazing how things have turned around? It was Jordan Thompson that came up with the error that's allowed him this good field position.
Pello, who's come into the line a lot from full-back. It's a lot easier game when you've got the ball than when you haven't, isn't it? And that's what we're seeing here. The Dragons are looking a totally different side.
Here's the key indicators now. Casey Maguire at +1, Thomas Bosk at +2. They're looking for the big shift. They've gone on the short side. They've still got great shape on that left-hand side of the field.
Bale was crawling towards the try line, got within half a metre. Now it's Casey Maguire spinning the ball out to Bosk. Lovely ball to Elima. The French captain strolls over for the try that would, in all probability, level the scores at 10 apiece.
But what about the width of the pass from dummy half? It must have cut out about 5, maybe 6 defenders from Castleford. They've had to move slide, they've had to slide just fantastically. Olivia Elmer, one of the standout key performers for his Catalan side. It just hit that ball like an express train.
They were teeing that play up then for about two or three sets. There's the challenge. Yeah, look, he just deliberately gets himself between the ball and the challenging runner. The referee and the video referee made exactly the right decision, and look at that great shape. Man around the bat, the Castleford defence couldn't read it. Beautiful little ball, +1 off the hits, +2. The big man almost unstoppable from 5-6 metres out, and the Dragons well and truly back in the game.
Well, against his former club, way back when, in 2002, he made one appearance for Castleford, Olivier Ellimer, and always a prolific try scorer as a forward. He was top of the try-scoring charts as far as forwards were going last season, and gets his third of the season. And what a crucial one, Steve-O.
Certainly was. What about the beautiful pass by Thomas Bosk? It was delayed to perfection. The big fella running onto it. It was superb. He hasn't done much to do yet throughout this game, Thomas Bosk, but that just one split second was sheer magic.
And Steve-O, James Evans coming, he took the wrong option. Thomas Bosk was running across the pitch. He was holding up defenders. James Evans has come and he's planted his feet, and Olivier Elmer's just got on the outside of him. Well, there's a problem there with Sebastian Martins, who's left the pitch, looks in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, looks like an arm injury, Terry, doesn't it, as he moves very gingerly away back to the Catalan sideline. But 9 minutes to go before half-time. I'll tell you what, they'll be absolutely delighted, the Dragons. 10-0 down, they were staring down both barrels of a real hiding here. And they battled back.
Well, they were under pressure the first 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden Castleford start getting a few penalties or giving penalties away, and that's because this Catalan side have been willing to run harder than their opposition. We saw Remy Casti come off the drop kick before. He just run really hard, won that collision, they got a penalty on the next play.
This time last year they gave the Leeds Rhinos a 30-point start in the Magic weekend. 30-0 they trailed at half-time. They got back and lost 36-16. This time they're giving Cass a 10-point start, but they have got back on level terms. Huge bomb. Dixon collects that comfortably. He's got McGoldrick with him, but will take the safe option. Mind you, he wouldn't particularly want to run into those two guys, Dane Carlaw and Dallas Johnson, the competition's leading tackler. Johnson, 556 before today. That's some stint.
It certainly is. Notes for the coach. I'm sure Kevin Walters would have been looking then as Bosk put that bomb high in the air, that Castleford were using 3 fullbacks on that tackle count. Fullback in position, both wingers very, very deep, which means at some point there's going to be room on the edge. I wonder whether he's going to use that at some point in the future.
Yeah, Johnson's tackling stats are phenomenal. They have been for years with the Melbourne Storm. He's just ahead of Malcolm Alker, the perennial winner of that award, but they're 100 and something ahead of everyone else, those two. So it just shows their work rate. Little chip ahead. Aim for Evans or Dixon. Dixon collects and goes down the sideline. A little kick again. Everyone on side according to Ian Smith. It bounces kindly for Cass. It bounces for Brent Sherwin. He scored. Castleford are back in front.
Spectacular try. Good build-up play from Castleford once again. Brent Sherwin going in for the try. Well, they've had it all in this try. The build-up play from Castleford. High fives all around. But it's amazing, as soon as you get that ball playing on the front foot, both of these teams need to find a way to get the result. Here you can see a neat little kick. It's gone over, all the Catalan players are in. Back and he comes up, he can't make the tackle. Good kick by Dixon, it bounces awkwardly. You can see Steve Belly come from one side of the pitch to the other. The ball just totally beats him, bounced over his head and bounced into Brent Sherwin's hands.
I just wonder, they've been messing around, chopping and changing their fullback. They haven't really got what you'd call a natural fullback. Is that what we saw there, that guys didn't know how to deal with it in that position?
I think you've really got to credit Brent Sherwin. He's done exactly what I just said, that might happen to the Castleford Tigers. The wingers had dropped back looking for the long kick, then all of a sudden Sherwin's ready, dropped the ball into no man's land, and fortune favoured the brave. Pushed up, caught, kicked, and Sherwin was back on the inside. Brilliant play.
Westerman added the extras, 16-10 to the Castleford Tigers. Tit for tat try scoring here at Murrayfield. Cas 10-0, then 10-all. Castleford 16-10 in front. Which way will it turn next here in this game? Later on, we've got Huddersfield against Wigan and Hull KR against Saints. Difficult game to call this. It was difficult at the start. It's just as difficult now, really. The last 3 meetings between the teams have been settled by 4 points or fewer. Cas won the last game in France 2016. They have been traditionally very close contests between these two clubs, both of whom have had the ignominy of lifting the wooden spoon over the Super League era. That's a touch finder from Rangi Chase to pin the Dragons back.
Good kick by Rangi Chase, and Catalan have got to switch on now at marker. Rangi Chase in that set of 6 went into the hooker mark. To that clever play under all that pressure,
And that was really the right thing to do for the Catalan Dragons, because not many teams are really going to, on the back of scoring a try, the call will be, let's complete, let's make sure we don't make a mistake bringing the ball back up. So there was no need then to lie on at the tackle and possibly incur a penalty from the referee. No real need to charge down the kick, because you're going to get the ball back. I thought smart play from the Dragons.
And they're going to make the change, Paul, that you were wondering about just a few minutes ago. They're going to bring Kane Bentley on. More of a natural hooker than Bale, who leaves the fray, and Bentley comes on. So they've made that change now with 4 minutes to go before half-time.
Yeah, not quite sure, Terry, whether 4 minutes on the clock is enough for him to make an impact. Maybe you're just going to get Jean-Philippe Bale an extra time to recover during that half-time period. I thought 10 to 12 minutes before half-time, get him on the field, let him get good ball running from dummy half, and maybe change the outcome of that game.
This could change the outcome of the game. A penalty to the Dragons, which will give them just another chance.
He's got straight on, he's got out from dummy half, and he's got the penalty.
Confirmation of the substitution. 3.5 minutes to go before half-time as the Dragons look to get back on level terms. It comes free from Dimitri Pello. Play on is the call from Ian Smith. Says it wasn't ripped out.
Rob, that's exactly the point I mentioned previously about having players like Clint Greenshields in your team at fullback. There's nothing wrong with Pello. He's a very, very good footballer. He's just fractionally off the pace. That was a catch and pass, a flick of the wrist. He just didn't have it.
Yeah, Greenshields is a huge miss for the Catalan Dragons, no question about that. World-class operator at fullback, and as was mentioned, they haven't really replaced him. He's always played the last couple of games, but
yes, it's always a gamble as a coach to try and play the same game plan that you've been rehearsing for the last 6 months if your key players are not in those positions. We all like to think that we can bring those other players through to play of a similar standard, but I thought that was a classic example. Greenshields then flicks the wrist, and I think they score on the right wing.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, it's a very good play. It's not a square peg in a round hole, it's probably an oval peg in a round hole. It's nearly there, but it's not quite right.
Absolutely. You can't stop playing because you've got players missing, but you just have to sometimes rein it in a little bit. Pello, I thought, should have just shortened his run, go tight on the angle and play behind his running game as opposed to trying to catch and pass. You're asking him to play then almost like Martin Gleeson. Just flick off the fingers and put the winger or centre away.
Couple of minutes to go in the first period then here at Murrayfield. Castleford 6 points to the good. The Dragons have the ball, but very close to their own try line. Whilst they'd love to get a try before half-time. Well, I was going to say they're not in a position to attack, but they might be now because Ian Smith blows for another penalty.
And it's a silly penalty as well. Jones all over the man trying to get up and play the ball, and it's things like that that really turn a coach's hair grey. I mean, there they are, they're in a good position. It was a good kick, eating up the clock. They'll be quite happy to have a 6-point lead. Now they're under the pressure in the final seconds.
Well, from that tap set, I don't quite know whether Catalans will get right down into good ball to run the big wide play. They might finish this on the back of a big kick, and it might be the last hope for the first half.
Yeah, at least they can get they should be able to get an attacking kick in rather than a relieving kick, and they should be able to get within maybe 30 metres when this set concludes, get the ball in the air, just see whether they can pick up the pieces. But they haven't made a lot of ground from that penalty, and that's a loose pass. Castleford could be in with a half a chance as James Evans sniffed something on the far side.
Very slack play there by Thomas Bosk.
They tried to run the big shift from their own half, and you know Castleford can defend that because it came off the back of a very slow play the ball. If you want to shift wide, they've now gone to a kick, and maybe they'll get something out of it.
Spiralling bomb, could go anywhere, comes loose, play on is the call, could be anywhere. Some superb soccer skills from Olivier Elemer, who was weaving his way through a la Ryan Giggs, but in the end he dribbled it over the try line. But they will get a dropout. It came last off a Castleford man, says Ian Smith.
Wasn't the best attempt, was it, by the fullback Ryan McGoldrick? He never even raised the arms. He didn't want to know that at all. It was a towering kick by Thomas Boss. Came up with an error where the ball went backwards, got away with it.
It was Westerman that bundled it behind, and the clock is now stopped, so they're going to have 21 seconds. That's maybe 3 tackles to conjure something up here.
I'd make one drive and then put the ball up again, or maybe a dink into the in-goal area.
You're going to have to lay a line, go to the field position you want to, hit that big wide play. They may go for one and a bomb, I'm not quite sure. Pretty difficult to do it from there. They're just on the scrum line. That's on the 20-metre mark on the right. They're not set for the width. They look like they're going to go for the kick.
Yeah, they're going to have to go here, aren't they, because there's only 7 seconds left. It is dinked over the top. No problem for Ryan McGoldrick. He'll tidy up.
Awful kick, absolutely awful kick. He might as well posted it. Put it in the air, give you a chance to get underneath, and at least challenge the ball.